we've gathered 3 burger experts to blind taste test every frozen burger patty we could get our hands on to see which ones meet their standards. All of the burgers have been lightly seasoned and prepared following the cooking instructions on their packaging. Bubba Burger, original beef burger patties.
That's a fun shape.
Look at this edge.
You could definitely tell it was pressed or cut with something.
You can't get this kind of shape from hand form.
If it was done by hand, it means someone's really bad at their job.
The sear is nice.
Has a nice little caramelized action on it. Not too much juice is coming out of it.
When it comes to frozen beef burgers, there's a few things that I'm looking for.
It has to have a nice beefy flavor.
The inherent flavor of the meat itself.
A good burger should be juicy. It should not be dry. It should not be like a hockey puck.
Fat is what makes a burger taste juicy, that fat to water ratio. If there's too much water and not enough fat, it's gonna eat kind of dry.
It should also have the right texture.
I'm looking for something that kind of chews, but also crumbles at the same time.
The thing will be most impactful on that will be how kind of mixed that meat is and what meat went into it and how it's ground.
It should have the right appearance.
Is it nice and charred on the outside?
I want something that when I look at it, I say, that's a burger that I would actually want to eat.
When you bite into the burger, the inside of the patty, does it look gray or does it actually have some bright colors to it?
There's no reason why a frozen burger patty has to be any worse than a fresh burger patty, as long as it was frozen when the meat was fresh, it was done correctly, it was packaged well, and held well in the freezer. It doesn't have a ton of flavor.
You taste it up front and then it kind of just like goes away.
That's horrible. Oh my God. It's almost like I have COVID right now and I can't taste anything and I'm just chewing burgers.
The moisture content, it's fine. You can see when you squeeze it, there's definitely fat in there and some water content.
There's juice, but the texture's off.
It's a little bit too tough. I do think that you'll find that almost all commercially made burgers are gonna be like that. Between the fine grind and maybe a little bit of over mixing, you're getting that tougher texture.
The appearance actually doesn't look horrible.
You can kind of see the layers of how it was pressed and maybe put through a conveyor belt, and it has like weird air pockets in it. I kind of want to say it's a Bubba burger. Ooh.
Bubba.
I have heard of Bubba's, yeah. There's funny claims I find on all of these things. So you'll see a lot of like the 100% USDA.
USDA stamp of approval. They basically come around and make sure all the health codes are up to standard.
Well, this is gonna be the facility number for the USDA. So that's where this burger was made. And then the claim they're making is the 100% USDA choice.
The grades go prime, choice, select.
So choice meat means it's the second highest of our marbling scores. I would have expected if you told me this burger was made from choice beef that it would be a little juicier. But that being said, if you're picking lean cuts from a choice graded animal, it's still gonna be lean. If they put it on the package, that is a approved label by the USDA, they have to follow it. It means that there's a hurdle that they're going over to get it into your burger and they're not just buying the cheapest thing available to them. So there's no claims on no hormones, no antibiotics, no growth promoters. It means there almost definitely are those things in here. So this is what this patty looked like before being cooked. But I'm sure that they focus grouped it and people think it's more natural.
This like 90-degree perfect angle that maintains that angle when it's cooked. I don't like that.
I personally don't really like that they've kind of done this imprint thing. My guess is so it cooks more evenly and more fully.
Cooking it from frozen, you want the heat to get to the center and not dry the outside out. Docking it would help you heat the center quicker than if it was just a solid, flat piece.
Good and Gather, all natural beef patties.
I like that this one's round. It kind of it seems more natural that it's symmetrical to me.
It has appetizing appearance.
Thin patty.
It's got some texture to it, which I like.
Pretty moist. Definitely held some of the fat in there.
There's actually beef flavor. And the texture of the beef and the juiciness, it works together.
If I had to guess what this one was, I would say maybe like a grocery brand one. Good and Gather, all natural beef patties.
This is Target, right? Oh wow, it's only 15% fat.
So they're actually touting the fat content in it. All ground meat is supposed to be listed between the lean, so that's the protein, and the fat content.
Generally, I like to go 80-20, a little more fat content, because fat is flavor. When you have too much fat though, the burger tends to shrink more because all that fat's just rendering out.
So here they're doing all natural. In our country, all natural on its own never means anything. So you'll see 2 asterisks says
no artificial ingredients and minimally processed.
This is actually a perfect example where they've made a claim that means pretty much nothing. It's basically saying it's meat.
I'm a firm believer it's okay to freeze meat as long as you freeze it right.
The faster you freeze something, the more quality it's going to retain.
If you freeze something slow, you get big ice crystals. And if you develop crystals fast, you get little crystals, which will affect the texture of the end product less.
It does look a little freezer burn. Freezer burn is basically the refreezing of the water crystals that form on the outside after it starts defrosting.
It is interesting that all the burgers that we're eating today, they want you to cook them from frozen and to cook everything through. My guess it's mostly food safety related. Because they're mostly thin and uniform, they probably cook more evenly that way. Unlike with a steak where you're cooking the outside that might have the E. coli on it, and the middle is mostly sanitary. With ground beef, we're taking the outside surface that might have bacteria on it and folding it inside. And so at 160, you're gonna kill any pathogen that's inside.
And it's convenient. Who wants to spend hours and hours thawing and then cooking? Like, cooking a burger should be easy as 1, 2, 3.
I thought from an eating perspective, I enjoyed it. It works.
I'm a fan.
Amazon Grocery ground beef burgers.
This one definitely shrunk a bit. Could have been higher water content, higher fat content.
This one looks great. The shape of it looks like it was hand formed. I think that's a great sign. Smells like a burger patty. Everything smells like a beef patty right now. I'm not mad at that.
You don't really get a beefy flavor.
It's pretty appealing actually, texturally. Pretty juicy.
The moisture content is not bad. It's making me salivate. I think that's a great sign. My guess is that this, I'll tell you after this bite, has a higher fat content. Look, Amazon Grocery, 80% lean, 20% fat. I was right. Previous one was 85-15. So this one definitely had more fat content, and I could taste it.
Who knows why this was their choice? Maybe they want it to be juicier. Maybe fat is cheaper than protein.
So when it says beef, I think it's more or less they're using every part that they could kind of use to make the patties.
100% beef and all beef, when we're talking about a burger, is also a meaningless claim. You know, it's just saying this is meat or this is beef. Ground beef is a byproduct in our country of our steak industry. To have our ribeyes and strips, we're left with a huge amount of stew and ground beef that we need to use. That is why burgers exist. Because this one's not making any claims about choice or select or grading, I would say highly likely that it's retired dairy cow because they're usually older and the way they're raised and their breeds, they usually don't make great steak.
You really don't know what part or cut of the cow actually made this burger.
My guess is they buy beef from different farms.
Because there is no claim on here, the meat in here could be coming from different countries even. So you could be buying lean meat from Australia or Brazil, where a lot of meat in our country comes from, and then you could be buying fat from a local dairy industry.
And they grind it all up in one batch, and then they throw it into a machine, gets pattied out, and it's frozen. The grind of the beef affects the texture.
They could definitely get overworked, overground. You grind it too small, you grind it too big. Was it moved around a lot? Did it go through a lot of tubes and different things before it hit the form that it came through? I think all those processes can change the quality and change the texture of it being either mushy or kind of mealy.
But it's not overmixed. It's I don't know. It's a decent burger, I would say.
Kirkland Signature 100% grass-fed beef patties.
Oh, wow. This one's bigger than all the rest.
Look at the size of this patty.
It's actually larger than the bun size. Not a huge amount of flavor.
Not the most pleasant texture. Mushy.
However, it's juicy.
The moisture on it is actually really good.
Yeah, the flavor is like metallic, and I have to keep chewing. Like there's sinew in there too.
That is heavy.
Kirkland, dang, I love Kirkland.
I thought these would have been a little bit better than what it was. I grew up on these as a kid.
There's some weird things going on with this package. Some good things, some bad things.
80-20, there's 20% fat.
Without antibiotics or hormones, and it's 100% grass-fed beef patties.
When we talk about grass-fed beef in our country, that means grass only, so no grains, through the complete life cycle.
Cows that are grain-fed typically are fattier. To me, I think it tastes beefier, I would say, and it tastes more pleasant.
I think it's all a marketing scheme, a lot of it. The way I would buy a burger, or even the way I buy my steaks, grass-fed, grain-finished.
All cattle start their life on grass. It's as the animal gets older where things diverge. 100% grass-fed will stay eating only grass, whereas all other cattle are finished with grains of some sort. More carbohydrates partnered with the right genetics at the right time of their life will create a more marbled steer. Now the question is usually, when it says raised without antibiotics or hormones, there would be an asterisk. There's no asterisk. That means like it's what we call never ever. Never in its life did it get antibiotics.
When it comes to commodity beefs, they use a lot of different antibiotics, hormones to make it grow faster or to keep the cattle from getting sick. And it adds to what's in your beef because you're consuming what's in the cow. So having no antibiotics, no hormones, I think it results in a better product because you're getting that full beef. And it's the same with what they eat, grass-fed versus grain-fed. If they're able to be out in the pasture and live a normal life, you're gonna have more of a high-quality beef.
Teton Waters Ranch, grass-fed beef burgers.
Well, after the last bigger one, this one looks kind of sad. It's kind of like it clearly shrunk a lot and cupped a bit.
The appearance of this is my favorite so far. Very appetizing.
Has a nice little thickness to it, nice little grill marks on it.
I actually think the meat tastes pretty good. It has like a decent flavor to it.
I could taste the beef fat. Look at the way it's pulling apart too.
I don't really like the texture. It's eating really dry.
Looks like it's a little overprocessed.
But it's sinewy though, actually. It's natural, sinews are natural, but not the best for burgers.
Ooh, Teton Ranch. No antibiotics, no added hormones, 100% grass-fed.
Certified humane, which for me personally is a big deal.
That's a good sign.
That means they've hired a third party to come in and certify that the animals meet a certain criteria.
No sugar added. I mean, come on, like, is that really necessary?
I've never heard of why you would add sugar to a burger.
Gluten-free. Okay, again, like burgers are gluten-free. It's all protein. It's all beef.
Snake River Farms, Wagyu hamburger patties.
Very thick for a frozen burger.
This right here looks like a restaurant level burger.
So definitely like a half-pound burger. Maybe more, actually, depending on the shrinkage. It's got a decent crust on it. It's pretty good. It didn't really dry out, considering how long it's been cooked. It has some texture to it.
You can definitely see it's more structured ground beef. Has the fattiness all the way through, a lot of moisture retention. Doesn't taste dry, has a nice beefy flavor to it.
This right here tastes like a gourmet steak burger. It's beefy, it doesn't taste super dry. There is a chew.
Like it's definitely like a real burger. You can like actually see meat. I was worried it's gonna taste burnt, but if something has enough fat content, it'll often caramelize instead of burning.
They definitely did a lot of research. They're using something a little bit better than the commodity offcuts.
Oh, Snake River Farms, that makes sense.
I've definitely heard of Snake River Farms. They're very well known for their beef. A lot of restaurants buy this and sell it as a homemade burger type thing.
So it's all Wagyu beef or Wagyu crosses or American Wagyu, if you want to call it.
American Wagyu beef is a crossbreed, Angus and Japanese cow. So they crossbred and made American Wagyu.
Beginning in like the late 80s, people started bringing some Wagyu steers over here to the US. Then they cut off export of live animals, but there was enough of a base here in the country, and people started bringing in semen across to expand the herds. So there's herds all around the country that are anywhere from 50% Wagyu up to 99% pure Wagyu. Wagyu are prized because, like Angus, they have a really fine muscle structure, so each tender, but they're also known for exceptional marbling. It's a really good fat.
Well, I feel like they're treated pretty well.
They say they feed them beer, they give them massages, they do all different types of things to keep these cows happy.
I think the reason that this burger is superior is not because it's Wagyu, it's that it was treated in a much more like natural way. Like it is very different than the other ones we've had. Not only is it bigger, but it's more coarsely ground. To do something so minimally processed, you need to have a very high quality original input and also very consistent.
LIDL, Angus beef burgers.
This one looks like it's more homemade, more hand-formed.
It's not perfect, which I think is good.
It's probably one of the more appealing patties that I've looked at. You're getting like a really nice crust forming, which makes me think probably a higher fat content. The flavor's good. More char. It's got a really like loose texture to it, which I like. It seems more like a patty that you would have made.
That was a weird combination. It was juicy but dry.
Beef fat is coming through, but the beef flavor from the meat itself is not really coming through. It is, however, juicy.
You can even see actually on the bun, there's like more fat than a lot of the other ones. Like the bun doesn't look dry like the others.
It felt like I was taking a bite of almost a gusher, getting that burst of fat.
LIDL?
Angus burgers from LIDL.
I don't know how to pronounce it. LIDL.
Oh, Lidl. The new place that's popping up everywhere. Made with Angus beef.
Angus beef, which used to mean a lot in our country, now kind of less. From a cynical perspective, that just might mean this was made with a black-coated animal. That could be it. Angus have been prized because they marble pretty well, they're a medium-framed animal, and they have a small grain size in the meat. So different animals might have like a open grain or bigger grain of the meat. That fine grain of an Angus steer, or the classic Angus steer, makes it eat more tender.
It's a marketing thing. Honestly, it tells me not much.
Can I taste the difference, or can you taste it? I can't tell the difference.
Back in the 70s, farmers who were raising Angus came together as like a cooperative essentially and created a marketing criteria for Angus to help build Angus as a premium brand essentially. So then they could sell both the meat and also their genetics for a higher amount of money. So you might go to the supermarket and see certified Angus beef. It doesn't mean that they're actually Angus, but it means that they're primarily or partially Angus, that they meet whatever the minimum criteria is for that marketing program.
If you really want Angus, go out to a steakhouse and get it.
The shape of this looks similar to Bubba.
To me, this looks like a cookie cutter conveyor belt burger, and then you actually look at it after cooked and you're like, oh wow, that might actually be made at home.
It's actually quite impressive the amount of shrinkage this one had, which in some ways, like I'd be like, oh, it's horrible, it shrunk, but like it resulted in a pretty delicious end product compared to the others.
And you can see all these white parts in here. This is fat. This is beef fat. Beef fat is not a bad thing. It's flavor. But the fat and the meat didn't come together. It almost like ate separately, which is not a good thing.
So far, this is my favorite burger we've eaten.
I don't even think we're halfway there.
Wegman's seasoned Angus beef burgers.
All right, well, this one is juicy. There is juices all over it.
I don't like the shape at all.
Strangely oblong.
All right, guys, I can't do the bun anymore. But the most important part is this, so I'm gonna taste this.
So I want to call that the chicken nugget of burgers.
It almost has the texture of like a breakfast patty.
Guys, this right here is horrible. The texture is like a rubbery meatball.
This is definitely fascinating. All of it reminded me of a McDonald's chicken nugget. Almost rubbery, but not rubbery feeling. It's like a fake beefy flavor that it has to it.
Super salty.
I'm curious when we get the box if it says that there was salt and it was like a seasoned patty.
Yo, I would rather eat a lifetime of Bubba burgers than eat one of these. This has to be one of the like Dollar Tree kind of brands. Ooh. Wegmans, are you serious? Yo, I'm so disappointed, Wegmans.
Wegman seasoned Angus beef burgers.
So it is seasoned like throughout the whole patty, which is probably why it's not tender, but also why it eats nicely. It's seasoned well.
It's seasoned so badly and so much.
Ingredients: Angus beef, sea salt, and cherry powder.
So cherry powder is used in a number of ways, but mostly about color.
Appearance comes second. It needs to be flavor first.
It's quite expensive, actually, the cherry powder. My guess is something in the way this burger is made it very gray, and they're trying to counteract the grayness. It's already kind of gray still, and the fact that it has salt and cherry powder in it, I find that kind of puzzling. My guess is this is like a separate, from like Wegman's meat program, this is a third-party branded product, like white labeled product from somebody else.
Some companies white label their burgers, meaning they sell it to different companies and that company will stamp their label on it.
You could definitely have multiple burgers from different supermarkets with different boxes that are all the exact same product. So overall, enjoyable but strange product. The thing that made it enjoyable was salt. You could put salt in your own burger.
If I wanted something with more of a chicken nugget texture, I'd probably just walk to McDonald's.
Marketside, 100% Angus beef burgers.
Visually, this looks very nice.
Nice even round shape. Really nice grill marks on it. Has a nice little caramelization.
It definitely cupped a little bit, so you're getting like more sear on the outside, less in the middle. Got a bigger beefy flavor than a lot, but it's pretty dry overall.
Texture is not very good. It's dry.
That's pretty good. Marketside.
This is Walmart's premium brand.
100% Angus beef burgers.
So it's Angus again.
So they went bigger, thicker. But the problem is the thicker doesn't really work necessarily when you're going to well done.
By the time you cook the center through, the outside of the patty gets super dry.
Overcooked because they're telling you to cook it to 160.
Great value, 100% pure beef burgers.
It's got a good look to it. It clearly rendered some fat.
Juiciness looks like it's there. Doesn't look like a bad frozen burger.
I like the texture. A bit of toothsomeness, but not tough. It seems like actual, normal ground beef kind of burger, not overly processed.
Texture-wise, very good. Tastes like beef. Good grind.
You could tell from the first bite of this that it uses a more thicker grind or pieces of a thicker grind going into it. When you pull it apart, it doesn't rip in a straight line at all. To me, this would mean like it's more of like a paste mixed with a chunkier beef to give it that texture and mouthfeel.
Overall, I think this is like a pretty solid patty.
Good amount of beef flavor. And the beef fat, it's together. It has very good feng shui. Walmart, Better Goods. That's my guess.
Great value. Okay.
Is that Walmart?
That's another Walmart.
First guess. Getting better at this.
This is Walmart's regular. I like it better than the premium one. I think because it's not trying to be something it's not.
Beef burgers, 80-20.
That plays out in terms of like the eating experience and the fat that rendered out. There's nothing else about this burger. It is a beef burger.
From the last one I tried, from the same company, it's same flavor, just different texture. The other one just seems like it was more ground beef than processed.
It is a dozen burgers in a bag, but they're pretty solid.
Ooh, am I halfway there? I'm like hallucinating.
Holten's Chop House, smashed burgers.
So this is different in every way from the ones that we've eaten.
This one's really thin, super thin.
Oh, this looks horrible.
They're definitely going for like some sort of like smash burger type thing.
Oh, I don't want to eat this.
Flavor's pretty good.
Doesn't have much flavor for the burger itself.
Because it's so thin, you're basically tasting crust and less burger.
You do get a little bit of a charred flavor on the outside.
This doesn't even taste like beef.
I would not eat one of those burgers again.
I'm not expecting beefiness out of this patty. I'm not expecting juiciness out of this patty. This is more about crust and flavor, and they've maximized the surface area.
Maybe they're going for like a smash burger.
That wasn't smashed. They pre-smashed it.
Oh, smash burgers. I was right.
Holten's Chop House smash burgers.
Pre-smashed.
I kind of like it. I think as a double with cheese, it would work really well.
I could see it being better with like a whole bunch of them stacked and then just throw a whole bunch of condiments on it. I think they're going towards the consumer that doesn't really cook often. It's a great concept for that. Somebody that wants to stack something high and build the smash burger without knowing kind of how to cook it or how to do it. I think they're doing an okay job at it.
Oh, man. They messed up. They messed up. They messed up bad. It's so weird. It tasted so off. Bubba's is better than this.
They docked it. That's going to increase probably the speed that it cooks. I'd want to slow it down for something this big so I could cook it on both sides with a weight on it.
Cedar Canyon Meats, all beef patties.
Definitely has some holes in it, so I'm not sure what that's about. I can kind of see right through it.
No more buns. No more buns, guys. Wow, that tastes like beef.
It's got a good beefy flavor. Actually, there's a nice char on it, and it's pretty juicy and tender.
Very thin. The moisture's there. The beefy flavor, you could taste it more than the last one I had.
Not too coarse, not too fine, not rubbery, not dry. The beef is chewing well, no sinews. And as I'm chewing it, I'm still getting flavor, beef flavor, which is a great sign.
You don't see a lot of big pieces of meat in it, so it's pretty finely ground, but I think it's not overworked. So it doesn't have a toughness that some of the other ones have.
It definitely run-of-the-mill type burger. Just your normal, thin, frozen patty. Ugh. Cedar Canyon Meat Company.
Never heard of them. Let's read the packaging.
100% all beef patties, ready to grill.
I think that is the extent of their claims. It's beef in a circle. It's made in Kansas by Cargill, but Cargill's huge. There's like the biggest commodity meat could go through a Cargill plant, but then also like within Cargill, there could be like smaller brands operating as well. There could be a grass-fed program going through. And maybe this is a little bit of everything, right? So maybe this is all the excess trim that's going into their burger program. There's no way to know.
Philly Gourmet, pure 100% beef patties.
It looks decent for a frozen patty, but very soft.
It's very pliable. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
This one got nice color on it, which makes me think it was a bigger patty that shrunk and rendered a little bit.
One of the beefier flavors I've had.
Got a little bit of beefiness to it, but not a ton of flavor. Kind of texture is all right.
Not too chewy, not too soft. Has a nice little mouthfeel to it. Moisture content's there.
The juiciness is definitely mostly from the fat.
Not a bad burger.
This ranks like middle tier for me.
Middle of the road. Philly Gourmet. I do not know what that is. It's kind of a fun box, at least.
100% beef, cooked frozen, quarter pounder, gluten-free.
I like how so many of them have the gluten-free claim, but then they always show them on a bun.
That's really all they got there.
I like that they have to put a note that says that this burger is larger than it appears in real life.
When it doesn't say the fat content, I just assume it's going to be dry. But tasting it, I would guess the fat content to be like 80-20 or maybe 75-25 almost. They did a really good job with the fat in here.
And depending on what fat content you want, you add more fat or less fat. Most burgers use short rib, brisket, chuck, top sirloin, something like that that doesn't have too much of a fat to it. And then you're gonna take the fat from the better cuts of the ribeye, the short loin, the strip, and you're gonna mix that in with the grind on your lower fat cuts.
Wellsley Farms, sirloin and beef patties.
Wow, this one, huge patty.
It's a big burger. It is significantly larger than the bun, even post-cooking.
This has kind of the similar shape as that Bubba burger, definitely cookie cutter processed.
Looks appetizing. Little dry, I would say.
It's weird that it's drier than most, but has retained its pink color more than most as well.
More moisture once you get into the middle of it.
Although it's not super rich and fatty, it is juicy.
For a thin burger, this one definitely has more of a beefy flavor, very tightly packed ground beef.
And it is beefy.
I would have that one again. I think they actually chose what they wanted to be in it. Maybe like a sirloin burger.
I would say like a BJ's. I don't even know if BJ's has their own burgers.
Wellsley Farms.
I've seen this brand before. Isn't that like a BJ's thing?
Yo, BJ's!
85-15. I thought the fat content would have been a little bit higher.
Remember I said it didn't taste as fatty, like as rich? This one is the first one that's mentioning sirloin.
They definitely pick what cuts they use in the burger to give it that beefiness and the flavor for it.
So they're making a sirloin claim, which is probably not accurate. I wonder what they're qualifying as sirloin. Sirloin is a specific cut, but there's a couple cuts that you can call sirloin. It could mean a million things. It could be sirloin from a dairy animal. It could be sirloin, what they used to call peeled knuckle, which is like the sirloin cut in the front. It's really more like a leg cut and not a sirloin cut.
The reason why they probably put sirloin here is because people know the name sirloin, and it's going to be like, oh, sirloin burgers. It's definitely all marketing.
It's not 100% sirloin, but it's sirloin and beef, other parts of the cow. I don't think you would want 100% sirloin anyway.
Sirloin is not going to be as flavorful as chuck, and the only reason you buy sirloin over chuck is for a steak, for something more tender. And we're grinding it, so tenderness doesn't matter. So you could make the argument actually like sirloin makes worse ground beef. Tender things, when you grind them, sometimes get like a toothpastey texture to them. Just because says sirloin on it doesn't mean it's the same sirloin that you would buy in the meat case as a steak. It could be from an animal that would have never made it into the meat case as a steak.
Because it could be from a bad cow or a good cow, who knows? But at the end of the day, this flavor is what counts, and it tastes like a very good burger.
Now let's see which burgers our chefs liked the most and the least.
Out of all the frozen burgers I tried today, I think my favorite one was the Snake River Farms.
The Snake River Farms one, clearly superior beef that didn't need to be manipulated in a lot of ways.
The Snake River Farms burger, it's not even fair to rank that. It's apples and oranges, so let's just leave that out. I would say great value is my favorite. Forget the packaging. It tastes beefy, the right amount of fat content. It's very juicy, and the appearance is very appealing. It looks like a fresh burger. Other ones I liked, Amazon Fresh, Wellsley Farms, and Cedar Canyon. All very good burgers. Very, very good.
My runner-up was the Teton's Water Ranch. The mouthfeel and the beefy flavor was really good on that.
I also appreciated the Holten's Chop House Smash Burger, just because I liked its uniqueness. It was all about the texture of the end products that they were creating.
My least favorite burger has to be Wegman's. I couldn't even eat it.
The seasoned Wegman's Angus burger reminded me of a chicken nugget. I don't think I'm gonna be running towards anytime soon.
It kind of worked for me. I don't know.
The less quality ones were the generic store-bought, real thin, flat ones.
I was also not a big fan of Bubba's.
You know, if you're shopping for burgers, you have to choose what makes the most sense. But I would always choose based on as many claims as possible.
Frozen burgers, a great way for a home cook that's practical, economical, and very convenient.
If you're after the flavor and the taste, you should definitely splurge a little bit on a frozen burger. If you're not after any of that, just be sure to buy a lot of condiments and pickles to throw on there.
Guys, I'm sick of burgers, but I don't hate them. Bubba's. If you're down for a collab, let me know.